finest symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Arn. This is Paul Bromwell, and today I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, the founder of the Four Horsemen, the creator of the Spine Buster, the 1A of tag team wrestling, our TV champion. He's the enforcer. He's AA Arn Anderson. Arn, how are you this week?
Thanks for that setup, as always. I never get tired of hearing that. Everything's good. It's getting cold.
It is. It's getting chilly out, and man, we have a solution for that, by the way.
I know you do.
We may as well just jump right into it, because that's one of the things we pride ourselves is making sure that we take care of our audience. And the best way that we can take care of you right now is to tell you about the merch that we have available. And it includes those Horseman jackets. Isn't that right, Arn?
Yeah, buddy. Red, black, two of my favorites I got in the closet. Broke them out for the first time a couple weeks ago. So, man, they're just heavy enough to keep you warm, just light enough that you don't get uncomfortable. So
there you go. Check it out. And you can go to boxofgimmicks.com or arnlinks.com and find out all the merchandise as well. One more piece of business, and then we're going to jump right into the show, and we'll talk about your appearance at WrestleCade at the end, Arn. But I wanted to mention, because of the pre-order, this show drops on the main feed on November 11th. And that means right now you have the opportunity to go to majorpodmerch.com and pre-order the Arn action figure. As Arn said last week, it's a toy, and he can't believe that there is an action figure of him now available. And man, we are so excited about it, Arn, but there's a short window. It went from November 3rd to the 17th where folks can pre-order this action figure of yourself. How exciting is this to be a part of this with those guys?
it's surreal. I mean, it is. Like I said, I've had one set of figures with WWE Hall of Fame year 2012.
That's right.
Prior to that, we had one set with WCW, and that's it. Nothing since, and very excited about it.
It's exciting. So take advantage of it right now, that opportunity. Get over there and go ahead and pre-order your figure. As I mentioned last week, this is an opportunity to get a really nice collectible that you could eventually have signed by Arn himself at one of his meet and greets. So jump on top of that, and we would highly recommend it and take advantage of that. Also, we mentioned too, Arn's coming to a video game near you as a downloadable collector. So we're going to be talking more about that as that video game gets released. Hal Haney, his amazing artwork. Huge fan of Hal Haney. If you aren't following him, you need to get on it. He has done so much great work over the years, and now he's involved with the video game, and he has drawn Arn and many other designed Arn, should I say, and many other of the wrestlers that you're going to be able to choose as downloadable characters for this video game. So it's very exciting. But listen, Arn, last week we took a time out from walking through your career, and we did Ask Arn, and we had a number of great questions from fans. And listen, as I said it last week, if we didn't get to your question, no worries. We're going to do 2 weeks at the end of the year to wrap up the holiday season with Ask Arn, and we're going to get back to those. But this week we're covering November 1993. And at the end of our October show, we discussed some of the creative changes that were happening. It all took place after Halloween Havoc. And this week, we're going to watch some footage, Arn, that was recorded before the changes took place to help us tell the story here. And we're going to open November 1993 coverage with a match that aired on November 6, 1993. It's an episode of Saturday Night. And Arn, you and Paul Roma are taking on Harlem Heat. And I want you to pay attention to this one, Arn, because of the names that they're referred to here. And we'll talk about it after the match. Let's check it out, our first clip of the week.
You know, BattleBowl is coming up just around the corner, our next pay-per-view. And, of course, everybody, as you see the fans clapping here, thinking of Clash of the Champions this Wednesday. What a lineup we have for the Clash. And what about the big announcement? Flying Brian, Stunning Steve, one-on-one.
Against each other.
Yes.
I think you better emphasize that. Whoa, and a big spinning forearm. This could be it, Tony.
2 count. Tag, though. Great teamwork now here by Harlem Heat. And Anderson finds himself in major trouble here. Double team. Double elbow.
Another cover, 2 count. Anderson kicks out. And back to the chin lock. You know, I still can't believe it. The blondes against each other.
We're going to be reliving the moments from just a week ago when they split up in just a few moments.
I mean, that's like Hollywood battling Beverly Hills.
That's probably happened before. And probably will happen again.
It's like Gold's Gym against World Gym.
That's probably happened before. Will happen over the top. Tag is made. Headbutt. And Anderson may be out from that head. Oh, look. For crying out loud, why did he stomp him? He's supposed to get out of the ring.
Why? To hurt him.
2 count.
Another snapmare. Arn Anderson in major trouble here.
Hey, Harlem Heat looking great, Jess. This team is really something. And I tell you, win or lose for either team, they're looking so good here. They're still going to be ranked high in tag team wrestling.
You get rankings for looking good, huh?
Yeah, of course you do.
I don't think so. I think you get them for win and losses. If looking good meant it all, then the Horsemen would probably be #1 in the world with Paul Roma. He looks good.
An elbow to the midsection. Arn Anderson, DDT.
You know, Tony, if looking good meant so much, we could get a tag team of Phoebe and Missy Hyatt. They'd be #1 in the world.
Let's book that one.
Arn Anderson fighting to get to his corner. He made it. And a fresh Roma comes into the ring for the Horsemen.
Oh, Roma missed the fire. Now, I think Cole is the legal man here, but Kane is in. There he is. Cole dropkick. Roma, both members of Harlem Heat. Rams the heads together. Oh, but they fire right back, Jess. They didn't hurt him at all. We got all 4 now.
Referee either got to let him go or take control of the match somehow. Big shoulder. Down goes Roma. Down goes Kane to the floor. There's a cover. Oh, he counted it. His foot was on the rope.
Wait a minute. The foot was on the rope.
Harlem Heat snuck one out there, Tony.
The referee did not see it, but the foot was on the rope.
Did you pick it up, Arn?
The foot on the rope?
Well, that, and 2, they also refer to them as Kane and Cole. That was their, that's what they originally came in as Harlem Heat, and then they ended up changing it to Stevie Ray and Booker T a few months later.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, isn't that something? Now, a few weeks ago, you told us you were big fans of these guys.
Yes.
And especially when they were with Sherry. But here in '93, you can tell they are raw talents. Let's talk about this interaction here with you and Roma. What did you think? The work of them as a tag team and the work with you guys in this one?
You know, I'm not sure how long they had been working. I bet it wasn't too awful long, but you could just tell that they're, you know, they are brothers, and they had that relationship that real brothers do. They have just chemistry that normal guys just that you throw together don't have. But yeah, you could just tell they had incredible looks, love their music. They were destined to do well.
You, as for the action in this one here, Roma collides with Booker T, and Stevie Ray gets somewhat of a weak win, but Booker does push Roma's foot off the top rope to secure the 3 count. You're late making your way into the ring. Do you think this is the kind of the planned storyline to design it this way? Because this is coming, the split between you and Roma. Is this the kind of the subtlety here between the two of you think?
Nah, I don't think there was anything that you could look to that maybe I made a mistake or he made a mistake. The Heat all kind of went on the Harlem Heat, which was good. But I didn't see anything that you would point to and went,
okay,
oh, that doesn't feel right.
Is there something that smells going? Yeah, something.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Wasn't that deliberate yet.
Not yet. Well, listen, next, during our October show, we discussed that Stunning Steve, I always want to say Stone Cold. It just fits with him. But Stunning Steve challenged Dustin Rhodes for the U.S. title and looked to be moving away from Brian Pillman and into the camp of Colonel Robert Parker. And a couple days after Halloween Havoc, Pillman and Austin, they would officially split Arn, with Austin attacking Pillman. This sets up a match at Clash of the Champions 25 between the two former tag team champions. And Clash 25 takes place in St. Petersburg, Florida at the Bayfront Center, Arn. 6,000 fans attended it, but only 1,700 of those were paid. Man, whenever we read that stat line, 6,000, attend and only not even a third of them paid. That's always kind of not a good sign, man.
And this switch, before we even get into it, was years too soon.
Yeah. Well, a special note on this one, Mean Gene Okerlund would interview Colonel Robert Parker, and Parker tells fans he's dropped Sid and that he's now managing Stunning Steve Austin. We're going to pause there for a minute. What did you make of the pairing of Stunning Steve with Colonel Robert Parker?
Again, it's hard for me to look at it objectively because everybody knew it was too soon. Splitting those guys up was just a mistake. It really was. Colonel Parker was great on the mic. He was a great character. And Austin was coming along, but I think if you asked Austin, would he have rather had the single push or stayed with Pillman, he would have probably chose to stay with Pillman.
Yeah. No, and looking back, hindsight, which we love to do, you love to do on the show, man, you're absolutely right. Could you imagine Pillman and Austin working with Harlem Heat and some of these other new tag teams that are now being, put into the fray?
Any number of teams they would have excelled working with. You just cut it off way, way, way too soon, and Austin would still have gotten where he got. He would still have become Stone Cold. I believe that. So I believe in fate. But man, the company would have benefited so much from that pairing.
You talk fondly of Robert Fuller. You just did last week when we did Ask Arn. What do you think Steve could have learned from his time working with Robert Fuller?
To be such a colorful character and it's like a goofball thing, the whole Colonel thing and the suit and all that. He's one of those guys that grew up several generations in the business and was very smart about the business, very intelligent. They moved in several places, his father, grandfather, and set up territories that were highly successful. And there's a reason for that because he knew the business. And he would share that knowledge with the guys too. So what you saw Colonel Parker was not Robert Fuller as far as knowledge.
Gotcha. And here's the other thing to think about too. As much as we hate to see the Blondes, they're broken up here. They're obviously at each other and they're going on to their singles run. Do you think though, hey, maybe, seeing Stone Cold take off Stunning Steve Austin finally get his rub as an individual performer, because he's going to go on and start challenging Dustin for the United States title. He's got everything going for him at this point. So the timing to see him move on, working in that upper end of the card, timing might be right for him in that, if you think about it that way.
Well, let me ask you this, because I don't have it in front of me to look at. Maybe you just fix it in my mind. So he dropped Sid and went with Austin?
Yes.
Okay, now was Sid still working there?
Sid's about ready to make his exit, and we're going to talk about this episode. He's done. He is let go by the company.
Because what I'm going to say, I think you probably will know, the thing that makes the most sense if he's going to drop Sid and go with Austin, there's your match. Yeah.
Well, yep. They're moving on from Sid. Sid leaves the company for a while, and it's all about developing Austin and, continuing to want to promote, Stunning Steve in that singles role. So they're in their mind, it's, hey, let's just move him right into the United States title picture.
Okay.
Yeah. So Steve does defeat Brian Pillman 9 minutes here at Clash with Robert Parker. He pushes Pillman off the top rope as Flying Brian was going for the springboard clothesline. The Blondes are officially done, Arn. And then rather than having a longer singles program between the two of them, Stone Cold, once again, stunning Steve Austin moves on with Dustin Rhodes for the U.S. title. And we know the Hollywood Blondes are favorites of the Arn Show, so we do have a few listener questions. Brad Stanton says, you made it clear that the Blondes ended too early. Yes, he just did. Brad, would you have what would you have done as a booker? Would you have kept them heels or turned them babyface?
I'd have let the fans turn them babyface a year down the road. But we did not get their best. You would have gotten their best in the course of the next year.
Dylan says, did Arn think that the Hollywood Blondes breaking up, that this could be Austin's chance to climb the ranks and finally get to the main event spot?
Well, I think he would have got there anyway. But, I mean, Austin was just, he had it, and it was just a question of when.
Sam Lawson with another great question for you this week. He's asking, double-A, did Pillman or Austin seek out your advice when they broke up the Blondes? With your experience at that point, you had successfully been the engine of several legendary teams, and you rose to the top each time. So I'm wondering if those guys ever doubted their singles potential. Thanks. I'm looking forward to receiving my copy of My Life as the Enforcer. So there you go. Did they ever come and talk with you? And thank you, by the way, Sam, for purchasing that.
Yes. Thanks, Sam. Not really. I don't think so. I think they took control of their own situation. You guys kind of, once you were a top guy and being used as a top guy, you pretty much took care of your own business.
Right. Nick Lenz wants to know if you have ever heard the reason for WCW splitting up Austin and Pillman, and was it for low ratings?
Well, I sure wouldn't blame them for the low ratings.
Right.
That's the last crew I would put the finger on.
I think they just didn't understand or realize at the time what they had in those guys as a tag team.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And they didn't realize that it takes 6 months of being on TV every week to get over in those days. You had to be on there every single week and used in a good capacity. And when I say get over, that means you can go to a town, single main event, and draw a house.
We would also have some other news coming out of Clash 25 year, Arn. It marked another significant change to the creative direction of the company. After failing to defeat Rick Rude on 2 separate pay-per-views for the International Heavyweight title, it appears that Ric Flair has been removed from the title picture altogether because of the fallout following Halloween Havoc. The booking committee called on Flair to now enter a program with the man on the hottest run in the company. That's right, the Mastodon, the world champion, the man they call Vader. And just as a reminder, Vader had been the WCW world champion since December of 92. All right, so now here we're talking November 93. 93 was the best wrestling year of his entire career. Listen, Vader took on Sting, Davey Boy Smith, Cactus Jack in main event level matches. And now here comes the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And in the main event of the Clash, Flair challenges Vader for the WCW World title. We do have the closing minutes of this match. And in our second clip of the week, let's take a look at what happened when Flair and Vader wrestled for the world title in St. Petersburg.
The Nature Boy, sensing that maybe it's his moment.
And Vader caught the ref. Flair dropped out of the way. He saw the clothesline coming. The ref didn't see it coming. We got no referee.
And we got Flair up on top. Flair caught by Vader. He caught Ric Flair. You see the referee still down. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Headbutt. Softening him up.
Oh,
He's going to the top for what? A superplex? What is Vader doing?
Oh, my. If he hits this one, it's over.
Oh!
Incredible. Incredible. Both men are down with a blow of that superplex from the top.
Vader's first, though. Flair's got no way to go. He's out the middle of the ring. They need to wake up that referee because this one's over if Vader tops him. Why ain't Vader covering him? What is he doing?
He's going to go up top again. He's positioning Ric Flair.
Why? Why?
To be the man, you got to beat the man and beat him down, I guess. He may be going for a moonsault here.
Oh, and he took too much time, Tony. Flair rolled to the inside and got out of the way.
Flair covers him. 1, 2, 3.
What?
Flair beat him. Flair beat him.
I don't believe it. The referee's waving it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official decision.
Wait a minute.
Vader has been disqualified. The winner of the match, Nature Boy, Ric Flair. However, a title cannot change hands. On a disqualification, Vader still retains the World Heavyweight Championship.
It's from when Vader struck the referee. The referee got up, and I believe ruled for disqualification. Right there, Tony.
And now Stunning Steve and Vader having their way with Flair. Flair wins, does not get the title.
We got Mean Gene Okerlund stepping into the ring. Maybe he gets a chance to get a word with somebody up there.
Okay. Mean Gene in the ring, take it away.
All right, apparently things are still up in the air here on a Clash of Champions. Ric Flair, Ric Flair. I don't know what the bottom...
I'm back in the ball game now. I'm back, and you got me nuts. This Saturday, who's got the ball, Pop? You, who's got the ball? And my partner will be in the building Saturday. He's 6'9", 320 pounds. Sid Vicious. Saturday, you got the guts. You got the guts. Come on it. Got the goal.
Wow, there we go. Hey, do you remember, man, Vader's just such a badass. You've talked about it, his athleticism. I mean, doing that moonsault. He's an incredible athlete, Arn.
The only mistake on that deal, and this is just me being a detail guy, when he set him up for the moonsault, he was too close.
Yeah.
You knew that he was going to overshoot it. And when you know that, if you're watching it as a fan, maybe you don't notice as much as I do, but I went, this is not going to even look remotely like he had to really scramble to get out of the way. He's too close in. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I noticed it, but good catch. Good call by you. What about Flair? Did he ever have a conversation with you about what it was like to work with Vader, a guy his size?
Well, we knew, I'd worked with Vader some too, and we both had. And, it was a solid match. It was a physical match, but, the liberties that you heard about him taking with some guys he never took with us. So
that was good, at least. At least you knew you didn't have to worry about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a physical match, though. I mean, you knew you were going to get banged around and beat up. And
you were going to be bruised up a little bit coming out of
shit happens.
A battle with Leon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, let's go to a bar fight. Who we're working with, Leon. Okay.
All right. Well, going to have a few extra drinks after this one. Well, we also see the continuation of the story at the end of this one because Austin jumps on Flair. He and Vader now are aligned, following him taking Sid's place. Once the scrum clears up at the end, Flair lays down the challenge for Saturday night, told Vader and Stunning Steve he was bringing Sid Vicious with him, and that match takes place November 13th, and we have it. It's the third clip of the week, and how it went down on WCW Saturday night. This is from November 13th, 1993.
145 pounds, accompanied by BP, 10-time former World Heavyweight
the colossal Kongs. Certainly Harley Race has something to do with that, and now Vader right to the ribs. Oh no!
Look at this. The Kongs are holding Big Sid down. Here comes Vader. Wow, he splashed him on the floor.
You know he's going to crush some ribs. Meanwhile, Flair on the inside with Stunning Steve. This match not even underway. He's out.
Sid Vicious is knocked cold. He's out on the floor. His career might be over, Tony, for all we know. At least temporarily. Look at him. He can't breathe. He's holding the ribs.
Some other wrestlers out there. Fans, let's take a break here and see if we can get this cleared away as Flair looks over his partner and see what happens, fans. Stay right where you are. Wow. Back on Saturday night, you take a look at an injured Sid Vicious being helped out. Flair apparently is going to have to wrestle by himself because Sid is being taken away here.
He can't wrestle by himself.
And once again, a Harley Race and Vader, along with Stunning Steve and Colonel Parker, putting the odds in their favor, taking every illegal advantage they can, using the colossal Kongs. I don't know what's going to happen here, but a lot of congratulations are going on right now. And Vader, and the match has not even started, so we can't have a count out.
And that's the brilliant thing about it, Tony. They can't disqualify him because the match had never started. There was never the ringing of the bell.
Now, Flair says, I got somebody coming out right now. He's telling the referee, letting the referee know he has somebody coming. It's Arn Anderson. How about this? Who would have ever thought this? Arn Anderson. And here we go. Vader and Stunning Steve thought the match was over, thought they had won it by default, but no. Anderson comes out, and it's Flair and Anderson.
Instead, they get two of the original Horsemen.
Oh my, and here we go. The bell sounded.
I'm not even sure who's legal man. I don't think that's even been established. All four guys going out on the floor. We got a brawl, Tony, and I love it because the referee's giving them leeway. The referee's letting them go at it.
Boom. The big chop. Vader and Arn Anderson. A big headbutt by the WCW World Champion.
And let's not forget, Arn Anderson has already wrestled one time in this program.
That's right, and wrestled about 12 minutes or so. Take a look at Vader. Want to let you know, now if the television time runs out, we will tell you what happened.
There's the tag!
Flair makes the tag, and here we go. Flair on Vader. On Steve. Fans are standing here. The former world champion sends Steve up and down. Fans, we will, if the match is going on when the TV time runs out, we'll tell you what happened on the main event tomorrow night. So make sure you join us there at 6:05. But we still have a minute to go, and Flair's in rare form now.
Belly to back suplex, and Flair setting up for the figure four. He's going to try to hook it on Stunning Steve. He's done it. We could see a submission here with 40 seconds to go.
We are down near the end of this program. Vader is still in the ring. Oh, Colonel Parker raked the eyes of Ric Flair. And now, Steve pounding away on Flair. What a match we are having on Saturday night. And now, an apparent double team coming here. Fans, we have a mere 10 seconds to go. Oh, Vader's going to go up the top. Fans, we're out of time. We'll talk about it tomorrow night.
There you go, Arn, man. What a time in wrestling. Listen, the research guy is pouting because we only watched a little bit of that match. But to his point, he was talking with me earlier and said, man, this match is fantastic from start to finish with four of the best workers in the company at this time going toe-to-toe. And you and Flair and these guys. What a match.
Seemed to be going pretty well, but nice we could have. So how long was the match in its entirety?
He said the match went over 30 minutes, ran all the way into the end of the Saturday night program with the tape machine still rolling.
And I already wrestled once.
Yeah. So what a night. But you can tell too, as we're watching this together, since this is airing in November, that all this stuff was pre-recorded in October. You know what I mean? Because of, you know what I'm talking about. You guys had already done the trip over there overseas and all that. So a lot of this stuff has got to be cleaned up creative wise, but we get to see the Colossal Kongs once again. So we see those two.
Who are those guys and where did they go?
No idea. I mean, we
still don't recall ever seeing them without their masks.
Yeah. They jump Sid, they attack. It's the last time Sid appears on WCW television right here. He would return to the company 6 years later in '99 as a member of Team Savage. So that was the last appearance for him. And this match also marked the first time you hit Vader with the Spine Buster. 2 years prior to the famous one from August of 1995 Clash. But this was the first time you hit old Leon with your spine buster. We see Flair go full-fledged babyface. He got that hot tag from you. Both Vader and Austin, he's attacking him at that frenetic pace. And to your point a few weeks ago, staying true to who he was and the offense that brought him to prominence. But listen, guys, go out of your way to check out what happens when all four of these Hall of Fame talents make magic inside that square circle. Arn, what's your opinion? What makes for a good television match?
Having enough time, number one. Following your storyline, number two. Having a storyline, it's right there at number two, too. And just realizing that you're on TV and you're under the microscope and everything has to be solid.
Right. It's nothing that you won't have to worry about. We didn't get to clean that up, or can they fix it in post?
Get one shot at it, and whether it's taped or not, always treat it like it's live.
We want to pause this episode of Arn to talk to you about something Arn and I are very passionate about, and that's sleep quality. And if you're waking up too hot or too cold, we highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. They're inspired by NASA. Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Did you know that traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat? That's freaking gross. That can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses, and that's awful. Nobody wants that. Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning, eco-friendly bedding, such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters, and it prevents 99% of bacteria and requires 3 times less laundry. The self-cooling properties for better quality sleep are where it's at. They use silver-infused fabrics, as I said, inspired by NASA. And the Miracle Made sheets are thermo-regulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long. You've heard Arn and I talk about it before. We like it cold and dark in the rooms. That's how the Horsemen liked it after they were done a busy night. And that's how you'll enjoy it too. And you can get it right here. Again, very clean, bacteria-free. So go to trymiracle.com/Arn to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code ARN at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20% off. Listen, Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you're going to get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made right now. Go to trymiracle.com/Arn and use the code ARN to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Arn and treat yourself to a great night's sleep. And we want to thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode of The Arn Show. There you go. Well, Arn, that match was live. And if you guys want to go back and check it out, make sure you do. Again, I'll give you the date. It was WCW Saturday night. You can find it on Peacock, November 13th, 1993. Let's return to the storyline involving you and Paul Roma splitting up. We saw how it looked like you and Roma were having problems when you wrestled the Harlem Heat. A couple weeks later, you and Orndorff would wrestle in a singles match, and we're going to watch the final moments of that one and the subsequent promo in our fourth clip of this week from November 20th, 1993 edition of Saturday Night. Lots going on here in WCW on Saturday Night Television. It was an exciting time. Let's check this one out.
Gets back up for the snapmare. Paul Orndorff. He missed. Anderson back up to the midsection. Getting the punches back now, Anderson. Running to go with a DDT hit. The assassin grabbed the leg. Anderson still fighting with Orndorff.
Just flagrant left-handed punches to the head of Mr. Wonderful. Whoa! And he caught that Stunning Steve.
Stunning Steve! Of course, Stunning Steve, the protege of Colonel Parker. Apparently all this has been premeditated.
That's being very presumptuous on your part,
Well,
Tony
he was
Schiavone.
out there with Colonel Parker early on, and now both men stomping away.
I told you all he asked for was original recipe on that bucket.
And now the assassin. And here finally is Paul Roma, Arn Anderson's partner of the Horsemen, finally clears house, and Anderson will win.
Winner of the match as a result of a disqualification, the enforcer, Arn Anderson.
Wild happenings here on Saturday night. Paul Roma in to help out his partner. Didn't really touch anybody, but finally they're away. And I'm going to go down and see exactly what went on here. Let me talk to Arn Anderson, Jesse, while you take care of this replay.
Okay, Arn Anderson victorious by a disqualification on Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Outside interference from Stunning Steve. Here you see Anderson firing in a series of left hands. And here comes Stunning Steve, and Anderson caught him with the peripheral vision and caught him with the elbow. But now it's a 2-on-1 situation and an automatic disqualification. Let's go down to Tony Schiavone now, who's standing by with Arn Anderson and Paul Roma, the Horsemen.
Arn Anderson just getting to his feet. Arn, I know we had scheduled to interview after the match. I didn't expect this to happen, but it's obvious on the night of BattleBowl when tempers are flaring that they're choosing sides around here in World Championship Wrestling.
Now, I know what it feels like to be a grape being stomped and squashed into wine. But Steve Austin and Paul Orndorff, you can't corner the market on the violence that you're bringing to me. You see, I'm Arn Anderson. I'm the enforcer. I'm one of the dirtiest players in the game. I don't wear a white hat, and I don't claim to be John Wayne. You want to jump on me, however, you find out about the inner workings of the Horsemen. Arn Anderson, per se. You see, Paul Orndorff, you're real pretty. Steve Austin, you're real cocky. But if you can bleed, you can be hurt. And gentlemen, I just saw that look in your eye. It wasn't confidence, it was panic. You see, you claim there's safety in numbers. Well and good. You've chosen the sides. You've drawn the battle lines. Now, if you've got the guts next week, you gotta face me head up. And I'll find somebody that will back me up somewhere.
What about, I was right there. I came running right up.
Uh-oh.
So something stinks.
Something's going down here. It smells. Hey, first of all, two pros working together. You've put over Orndorff on this show before. Grateful for his advice. And so it was a lot of fun seeing you and him go head-to-head here in the ring.
It's an honor. He was a big star. He had it all. He had the look. He was a tough sumbitch. Great worker. Had everything.
I'm almost disappointed that it had to end that way. I would have loved to seen a little bit more of a different finish out of you two there.
Yeah, buddy. You know, it's been an honor to work a full program with him for damn sure.
The other thing I wanted to point out here was at ringside. Yeah, we haven't talked much about the assassin played by WCW official Jody Hamilton, the father of Nick Patrick. As a fan of Georgia Championship Wrestling, is this where you first saw the assassin?
Yeah, I mean, he was a veteran, went way back. I would say he was probably working in the 70s, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
You know, and that not for that particular era that we just saw, but the Assassin was a top guy. He was a big guy and was always used real well. Not sure that audience remembered, but some of them probably did.
Any fun stories or anything that you can recall working with Jody Hamilton or his time at WCW here in this role?
Jody was he worked at Gorilla, and he would send talent through the shoot, so he was doing double duty. And he had an organization as far as the matches, and basically just did what we all did at Gorilla, being an agent and all that, keeping time.
Okay. I also want to get back to that promo there at the end and your little subtle swipe at Roma at the end of the interview where he has no ability to really respond. That was really well put together. Any thoughts you can share just after watching that, how you like that piece of work?
Well, if you knew what you're looking at when he hit the ring, he was a little over the top on
the shadow boxing.
Yeah, which, if you knew what you were looking at, you went, wait a minute. The little zinger at the end of the promo was meant to just be okay, and he just kind of blew it off like it was no big deal. So it was a teaser.
Yeah,
I think it worked.
It accomplished what it was meant to. And so, now we're interested as a wrestling fan. We know what's coming next. But let's talk about what is next. And it is WCW adding another standalone pay-per-view event. It's Battle Bowl 1993. It takes place in your favorite area, your favorite place, your favorite city, your favorite town. It's the Civic Center, Pensacola, Florida. November 20th, 1993. Yeah, baby. Hey, if you're going back to, say, Pensacola for a show like this, any particular place or thing that you're like, oh, when I go there, I'm going to make sure I stop in here or visit there while I'm in Pensacola? Any place like that in Pensacola beside the beach?
Yeah, Grandma's.
Oh, there you go.
Aaron came down with me, and we went and saw her mom. We visited her mom.
Oh, that's awesome. So here you are, you're visiting Grandma and you're down here at this event. It's November 20th, 1993 would have been when you'd be down there in Pensacola. And like previous Battle Bowls, the event centered around, and it's crazy, we're talking 30 years ago. It's the 30-year anniversary as we sit here in November of 93. The event centers around the random pairings of friends and foes. It's all tag team matches. And the winner, Arn, of these matches would move on to the Battle Bowl Battle Royal, with the last man standing being declared the winner. This Battle Bowl served as a means of building to the 10th anniversary of the first Starrcade. And our fifth clip of the week, we have 6 total, guys. We're almost there. Let's watch the opening minutes of the pay-per-view together, November 20th, 93.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, if I could have your attention for a moment. First of all, I would like to welcome you to this little get-together. As you know, Starrcade 1993 is going to be held on Monday, December the 27th. That's the date to mark down on your calendar. And of course, we have promoters and building managers from literally all over the world that are gathered here today that were a part of the bidding process to host Starrcade. By the way, this is the premier pay-per-view event for World Championship Wrestling. As they say, it's the granddaddy of them all. It started in the Carolinas 10 years ago. This is the 11th annual, and I guarantee you this one is going to be bigger and better than ever. Now then, a couple of things. We have promoters and building managers, as I said before, from literally all over the world bidding on Starrcade. From Japan, also from New Zealand and Australia. From Great Britain, we have a bidding war going on from Harvey Goldsmith and Company in the United Kingdom. Also from South Africa, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, all across Canada, Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, down in Mexico City, and certainly in the United States, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Des Moines, Iowa, Houston, Texas. Everybody is here. The great news is, I have just been informed that the 1993 Starrcade on Monday, December the 27th, is going to be hosted by none other than our good friends in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. That is great news. As you know, Charlotte is Major League all the way with the NBA Charlotte Hornets, recently awarded a franchise in the National Football League with the Carolina Panthers, and now Starrcade 93 makes it Major League all the way. The good news is, folks all over the country, nearly 25 million households are going to have an opportunity to join us on pay-per-view for the 11th annual edition of Starrcade. Now then, here's a man that knows a great deal about Starrcade. He was in the very first one back in 1983, the great one, Harley Race, 7-time world champion, and he is joined by this man. He's none other than the WCW current reigning heavyweight champion, a man that has held over 10 titles in 4 continents, ladies and gentlemen, Vader. And certainly he is going to be a big part of this spectacular on December the 27th in Charlotte. Hey, what's going on here? Just a minute here. Yes, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Nature Boy, what do you want here?
Just want to recognize the magnitude of the event, Vader. Please.
What is this?
I was at the first one. I want to be part of the 11th one and the biggest one. I've got a contract. I want to be in the match against Vader for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Excuse me, Mr. Joker.
Yes.
Excuse me.
I'll get out of here.
Excuse me, boy. What do you got to offer? What are you going to bring to the table, Nature Boy?
10 world titles, my friend. That's what I bring to the table.
Not enough.
It brings
It's
plenty.
not enough.
The magnitude of wrestling Ric Flair.
You're looking at the man that's got over 10 on 4 continents. What else you bringing to the...
You got the contract, Red
What are you
Race?
bringing to the table?
Hold on, one thing at a time here, gentlemen. A little decorum, please.
Vader. Hey, I'll do it for you. Don't bother reading it. What it says is, if I don't beat you in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm out of the sport of wrestling.
Hold on just a second. Repeat that, Ric Flair.
20 years.
Mr. Flair, let me refresh your memory, Mr. Flair. We're talking about Sting and his broken ribs, Ron Simmons and his broken shoulder, Joe Thurman and his broken back, Nikita Koloff, I ran him out of the wrestling business. Cactus Jack, where's Cactus Jack? His memory is gone. And now my latest victim, Sid Vicious. And you want to put your name on the line? You want to put your head on my wall? Bring it on, Mr. Flair.
I'm prepared to
Bring
put
it on,
my name,
Mr.
my
Flair.
reputation, and most importantly, my career. 20 years. I don't win, I'm gone. You want my head on your wall?
That's right, baby.
You got to come and get it.
You got it.
Involved in the first and the last.
In 83 race, it was a Flair for the gold. It'll be the same thing in 93.
Bring your
Ladies
head,
and gentlemen,
bring your
thank
head.
you very much. What a bombshell. It states right here in the contract that Ric Flair wants this man, WCW champion Vader. He wants him in Starrcade. If he does not beat him, Ric Flair says it's all over.
It's Vader
He will
time.
retire after a 20-year career at World Championship Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, again the date, Monday, December the 27th, 1993. Don't miss Starrcade. My word, I can't believe that. What's going on?
I tell you what, I really enjoyed watching that back because it gives it that big fight feel, Arn. The way that they did it, suits, Mean Gene, contract, press all around. What did you think about that?
It didn't feel wrestling.
Okay, so you're not necessarily a fan of it.
No.
Okay.
In a good way.
Okay, good.
The fact that the guys were, dressed up and decked out. And you had some dignitaries there. One thing and we're back to the Monday morning quarterback thing. Why, in God's name, would you run a pay-per-view on a Monday?
Is that what they stated? It's going to be on Monday?
Monday.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
December the 27th, right?
Yeah.
Monday.
I'm looking December. I'm looking Starrcade 1993 up to look at the official date. Sorry, we want to make sure.
All right.
It is a Monday. December 27th, 1993 was a Monday.
Work night. Pay-per-views are always on the weekend.
What are we doing?
See, that's the thing that you go back, and look at now and go, man, that's breaking you're just shooting yourself and not in the foot, in the head. That's a work night.
Yeah, absolutely. No one would ever run a pay-per-view on a Monday night now.
Now, granted, I'll go ahead and say this. The kids are out of school that week. That's a week that's Christmas
vacation week. Yep.
Doesn't matter. The parents got to take them, and that's a work day. People react differently to things on a work day.
Well, so you have it there, that it is a work night. It's the first Starrcade to feature Ric Flair since Starrcade 1990. But I think it was kind of, what also I want to mention here that I thought it was pretty cool is that you have the nod to the original with Harley there as Vader's manager. Wasn't that cool?
Yeah. For those of us that are big fans of the business and follow it, that was cool. Talking about nostalgia.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to talk about it because, as mentioned, Flair puts his career on the line. We're going to get into that in its entirety next week when we cover December. But big-time stakes are at hand. They had a big-time feel here with the press conference. And Flair, who's saying, hey, I'm the 10-time world champ. Vader's a badass. He states all the reasons why he's a badass in that promo. And so there we go. And it's Vader, here we go. Vader as well, and Flair, again, they were among the 16 that advanced to the Battle Royal. Vader would injure Flair outside the ring at the 17-minute mark of the Battle Royal, and eventually he wins the Battle Royal after eliminating Sting. And Vader now has all the momentum heading into Starrcade 1993. What do you think of that? Do you like that the booking made Vader such an incredible mountain to climb for Rick?
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and everything that he said when he ran his resume down was accurate. All those guys that he had hurt, all those injuries. There's one thing to just be flapping your yap about but then to have names to stick with, to put and give yourself validity.
Names, injuries, and I like how he said, do you want to have your head put on my wall next? That was a good line.
Excellent.
We have some questions from our fans about the Battle Bowl event pay-per-view. A wrestling historian asked, do you think Battle Bowl could have worked as an annual pay-per-view, or was the concept just not good enough to justify it? Thanks in advance.
I wasn't a fan. Maybe as a one-off, I don't know, but just wasn't a fan of the concept.
Bryant Haremza said the Battle Bowl pay-per-view happens this month. Did any of the guys enjoy this concept? Arn didn't, Bryant. I know it's a blind draw, but how difficult is it to put a match together at the last minute when you don't even know who your partner or your opponents are?
Tough. It's tough. And Battle Royals, let me tell you, my experience with them is when planned out and meticulously laid out, they can be okay, but by and large, they stink. Because it's just more of the same of just throwing a guy out over the top, right?
Right.
You can only watch so much of that, and it just gets repetitious.
I think, too, that's why you've seen Royal Rumbles. They have become so creative in how they try to handle those because they recognize that.
Yep.
You know?
You can only have 6 guys, in the ring fighting. You can only watch a couple at a time. You can't watch everything. So just to make them passable, you really got to put a lot of thought into them.
Well, Arn, a week after the Battle Bowl, despite your frustration at the end of the November 20th episode on Saturday Night with Roma, you guys wrestle. You and Roma wrestled Orndorff, and it's the following week. We have the final 2 minutes of this one. It's our 6th and final clip of the week. Here we go. Let's take a look.
A good look at Arn Anderson and his partner trying to get up to the midsection. Pair of elbows at time. Down goes Roma. Making Orndorff. Getting my balls mixed up here. And a knee to the midsection.
Well, you weren't long behind because down went Roma. After one, down went Orndorff. And Orndorff signaling the pile driver. Tony, if he hits it, it's over.
Trying to get him up.
He's hooked in the rope.
You're right, he is. Now he pulls him away from the ropes. And that enabled Roma to get the counter move.
Roma bought enough time by hooking that rope. There's a tag stunning Steven. But here comes Arn Anderson. The fresh Arn Anderson.
Double A's in. Elbow. Roma in to help out his partner. And we got all 4 going at it. Spine buster.
There's a cover.
And there's no referee. Oh, my
And there's a cover.
What's Roma doing?
Getting out of the ring like he's supposed to. Look at the assassin told him to go back to his corner. Why didn't he make a save?
Well, this match is over. Jesse, you're right. You picked that up. I was watching Anderson getting covered for the 1-2-3, but then Roma didn't make a save.
I love it. Paul Roma stuck right with the rules. Paul Roma made no attempt to save. Here you see Wonderful coming off the top. Wham, catches Anderson with the big knee. Stunning Steve rolls over and gets the pinfall, Tony.
But after that, of course, the assassin telling Roma to stay back in the corner. We'll be back, man.
Well, Arn, there it is. You and Roma are splitting up. How did you like how that worked?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right, I think.
30 years later, seeing how it all went down, any tweaks you might have given or anything different with the story?
Maybe I would have had the referee turn Roma to where his back is to, so he's not just blatantly looking at the 1-2-3,
staring at you from the corner. Yeah.
And he, the next week, could always say, listen, there's rules. You have to follow the rules. I don't want to get DQ'd. Referee was putting me out. I needed to get out. I mean, if it had been reversed, been the same thing with you. And it's not just so hit you right in between the eyes with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We, our AFS fans had a few questions on this, you and Roma. Adam Krasnov says, how disappointed were you that the breakup between yourself and Roma never played out on TV instead during your absence? Because you'd be absent from here for a little while. Eric Watts replaced you in the team where Roma ended up turning heel on Watts. That's how they handled this whole thing.
I think this was one of the episodes with my neck, I think, happened around here. Is that right? Do we know how long I was out?
You're out for a little bit here. I think there was a little bit of some time off here just for some another incident that occurred. But yeah, you're kind of put on the shelf here for a little bit.
I don't know. If I was battling an injury, that took precedence over worrying about how the angle played out.
Yeah. Well, Josh Harvith asked the question following Roma's heel turn and after the pivot of Flair versus Vader at Starrcade, were there any plans for the future of the Horsemen? And as a reminder, just like Josh pointed out, you stay allied with Flair into the spring of '94, but eventually you're going to join the stud stable, pal, and the Horsemen just go away until the fall of '95. So I guess the Horsemen idea just kind of faded away.
I'll just say it again. They only need you when they need you.
That's right.
And they were, each version of the Horsemen was disintegrating as far as the way we were used. So
would it be as simple as them just saying, hey, we're just going to go in this direction now? So we're going to have you against him and him against him. And that it was a simple conversation as that when it came to booking. It wasn't like, well, we have some ideas, but maybe we'll come back with the Horsemen. Was it just as simple as, hey, we're going to go in this direction for now?
Could have been.
Yeah.
And just have the announcers quit talking about it. Just call us by our name.
Yeah, it was that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Arn, this is going to conclude our coverage in November 1993. A lot of moving parts, as we discussed, with two major events. We had Clash 25, BattleBowl taking place, Vader and Flair entrenched in a blood feud, and you and Roma are on the outs. And before we get out of there, I'm just going to ask a few quick rapid-fire questions, and then we'll wrap this episode up. Matt S. says, what did Fifi bring to the Ric Flair package? I now appreciate the behind-the-scenes aspect of this relationship, but at the time, it just seemed a bit of an odd pairing that didn't do much for Ric Flair.
Correct. He didn't need it. It was just probably just, I'm not sure.
It really didn't bring, yeah.
Because he didn't involve her in the matches or anything.
Yeah.
It was just eye candy, I guess.
Two more questions. Terrell Lewis, who is a huge fan of yours, as well as what happened with Tony Schiavone, said, Tony Schiavone has said at this point in WCW, he almost expected the doors to close at any day. As a talent performer, how do you recall feeling about the direction of the company at this time?
Wow, that's pretty stout.
That's pretty stiff, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't even know how to follow that.
I love Tony. He doesn't give a shit. I can hear him saying that.
Well, again, it was you knew there were mistakes that were made, but it was out of our hands, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know, and so
the good news was Ted Turner was still signing your checks and he had a lot of money.
He was still enjoying it and still having fun. Ted.
Yeah.
So if he's having fun, what am I to worry about it? What do I give a shit?
Closing down the show, the professor, Drew Landry, with the best question of the week. Would you rather have walked backwards wearing a Winnie the Pooh costume with a jar of honey down to the ring and saying, "Oh, bother," every time, than doing this creative?
What creative?
Whatever they're having you do. They're just tearing you from Roma, sticking you with this. I mean, just it's a mishmash.
As long as it was me, I was probably preferable than being Winnie.
I got to send you. One of our listeners did a graphic reenactment of what you might look like as Winnie the Pooh if you were, that was your gimmick. I have to send it to you, Arn. It's all in good fun, and we try to have fun and poke fun at ourselves on the show. But it is hilarious.
I've been called a lot worse things than Winnie the Pooh, trust me.
Hey, and Winnie he's one of the most over characters ever. So there you go.
Probably for different reasons than the wrestling business.
Well, listen, that's a wrap on November 1993. Thank you all for your questions and all the fun. Reminder, if your business targets 25 to 54-year-old men, there's no better place than to advertise with us right here on the Arn Show. You've heard us do a lot of ads for several companies, and it's because it works. We have a super targeted audience. Very little goes to waste. So check it out. Advertisewitharn.com now. Find out more about how you can advertise and be a part of the Arn Show. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, don't forget about that Winston-Salem, North Carolina event, WrestleCade, and where you get the opportunity to meet and greet Arn and Brock. Brock's wrestling. It's 24 through 26, Arn's backyard. They'll sign your 8x10, shake your hands. Arn, I think his cabinets are empty of those Hershey's with almonds. So if you'd like to slide one his way as well, that would be nice, right, Arn?
Sure. How can I question the kindness and the thoughtfulness of our fans?
Arn, is there any other events or anything coming up too that you want to clue our fans in? I see you looking at your calendar there.
Yeah, I was looking the 11th. Brock's going to be wrestling in Jacksonville, North Carolina, November the 11th.
Okay.
If you're in that area, please come see us. It's in association with Dare, and we know what a good program that is, police department.
There you go.
And that's it for now. The biggie is going to be Tallahassee and for the 2 days, and then WrestleCade. So
WrestleCade, that's the big one coming up as this show drops. This show drops on the 11th, Arn, to our audience. So that'll be the day that Brock is there wrestling. So thank you for mentioning that. Definitely check that out. Well, Arn, that's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Next week, we're going to discuss December 93. Davey Boy Smith leaves the company. WCW puts on Starrcade 93, and Arn Anderson, he is going to return to the wrestling ring. So join us next week to hear all about it. On behalf of the founder, the creator, the Hall of Famer, the enforcer, Arn Anderson, this is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you right back here next week on another episode of Arn